Hello, and thank you for joining us. My name is Tyler Shannon. I'm an Assistant Dean and Director of Case Management at Florida State.
And my name is Sarah Castillo, and I am an Assistant Dean and Director of the Victim Advocate Program.
We're going to talk to you a little bit about crisis support services and or how we support students who are experiencing distress. So in case management, we have 4 full-time case managers, and we meet with students to assess the needs, figure out what is going on, and triage, and then try to see what we can do to best support them.
And in the Victim Advocate Program, we have 3 full-time advocates, and we also have 5 on-call advocates who cover nights, holidays, and weekends.
During this time of COVID, case management is working remotely and also doing face-to-face meetings via Zoom appointments. A way that a student would get connected with us is either by giving us a call at 850-644-9555, or the email that you see below, which is casemanagement@fsu.edu.
And the Victim Advocate Program is also working remotely right now. We are also seeing students face-to-face via Zoom. We are also responding physically to locations if there is a call. So whether that's FSU PD, University Health Services, or the hospital, we are still physically responding to assist students who have been victimized and are in crisis. We do have our 24/7 hotline, which is that 850-644-7161 number. And again, that's 24/7. So somebody can call that anytime, day or night, and they will be able to reach an advocate. We also have our email address, which is the victims-advocate@fsu.edu.
How students are referred, typically by other students, faculty, staff, parents, community members, or if we had outreach to a student, we get connected with them that way.
We also get a lot of referrals from FSU Police, especially for us here in the Victim Advocate Program. Tallahassee Police Department, University Health Services, both Case Management and Victim Advocate work very closely with the Counseling Center, with housing, and we often get referrals from other students.
And this one's going to come up a few times throughout the slide, but report.fsu.edu is a website that's created for faculty, staff, or students to submit reports of concern for a student, or if there's been some kind of situation they'd like to receive some support through. We reach out to those students after the reports get sent to the appropriate area in order to see how we can best support them. So that's one of the ways that we can get referred. In case management, we are here, as I mentioned, to provide support, advocate on students' behalf, and also work to connect students with other resources. I like to think of case management as kind of like an ambulance, and we're trying to get the student to the hospital. So we will step in and triage and help out where we can, but ultimately we're trying to get them to another resource that can help with them, their situation longer term. We serve currently enrolled students, also students who are looking to enroll or re-enroll. Maybe they took a break for a couple semesters, couple years, and now they're looking at getting connected with some resources and supported while they navigate their academics. Some of the common concerns are listed here. I would say the more common ones that we are seeing in case management now is related to medical mental health concerns, academic issues, any kind of housing situation or financial hardship, death in the family. Those are typically the ones that we're seeing more often now. Our services, as I mentioned, is a support. And so the big piece on this slide is that assessment of needs. We want to meet with the student. We want to talk about their situation, their concern that they're facing, and figure out what can we do to help them. One of the things that we do often for academic is to send a letter to the professors in order to validate circumstances, make sure that their situation doesn't have much impact on academics as possible. We also outreach to students in distress. We consult with faculty and staff, have a lot of individual meetings, presentations on services, which we're doing right here, and also we oversee the food pantry. The Food for Thought Food Pantry was established about a decade ago after case management worked with a student who was facing food insecurity. From there, it has grown and grown, and now we've got two freezers and a fridge, hoping to expand that. And we are operating right now on a walk-in, on an appointment basis, sorry about that. Tuesdays and Fridays, we are open for appointments. It's available to all students. How a student would sign up for an appointment is that link there at the bottom, the dsst.fsu.edu. And from there, students have the option of selecting vegetarian, vegan options, different kind of proteins, any kind of snacks or things like that we have available, so that we can make sure we're giving a bag of food that is really catered to the student and the student's needs. We also have a pretty active social media page. We've had both a Facebook and an Instagram where we are posting recipes with different foods that we have in the pantry and some suggestions on how to utilize the food that we have to make a nutritious meal. So I definitely would encourage you to check out FSU Food for Thought Food Pantry. If you just Google that, put that in Facebook and Instagram, it'll pull it right up.
So now we'll talk about the Victim Advocate Program. Tyler's in control of these slides, so but there might be a delay because I am secretly telling her when to turn the slide. Who do we serve? So we serve FSU students, faculty, and staff who've been victimized anywhere at any time. Anyone victimized by an FSU student or on the FSU campus or an FSU sponsored event. Victims of any type of crime. So robbery, battery, burglary, stalking, relationship violence, sexual harassment, etc. We also serve secondary victims. So that's friends and families, loved ones of primary victims, witnesses of crimes. Honestly, anyone who's been impacted by a crime would be able to qualify for VAP services. And we, of course, serve all genders and identities. We are confidential, so all services are confidential, free, and do not require a police or Title IX report. This is really important designation for us because there's only so many places on campus that are confidential. So the Victim Advocate Program, the University Counseling Center, University Health Services, Employee Assistance Program, and pastoral staff are the only entities on campus that are considered confidential and do not have to file a Title IX report. Why that's important for Victim Advocate is that allows us to create a safe space for students where they can discuss what options are available to them without having to worry about a report. So the confidential piece for Title IX for Victim Advocate is important because of Title IX. So for most people who are probably watching this presentation, you would be considered a mandated reporter under Title IX. And so I'm going to just talk very briefly about what Title IX is and give you some contact information if you have any kinds of follow-up questions. But basically, Title IX is a federal law from the Department of Education Office of Civil Rights. It covers sexual harassment, sexual violence, and gender discrimination. And essentially, it states that universities have a duty to end the behavior, address its effects, and prevent it from reoccurring. And all FSU faculty and staff are mandated reporters. So they are obligated to report any Title IX violations. This is where that report.fsu.edu that Tyler had already mentioned comes in handy again, because that is where you would report any kind of sexual misconduct allegation that has been brought to your attention. If you have any questions at all, please do not hesitate to contact Tricia Buchholz. She's the director of Title IX, and I put her email address down there at the bottom of the screen. So how does Victim Advocate help? We offer quite a few comprehensive services to help support victims of crimes. We offer 24/7 crisis intervention. So we have that 24-hour hotline number again. We can respond anytime, day or night, to any kind of situation that might arise. We also offer safety planning. We do have a temporary safe housing. We have a safe apartment available for students who might be fleeing a dangerous situation. We offer information, referrals to appropriate services in the community and on campus. We also do letters of support to professors. So similar to what Tyler spoke with case management, we also write letters of support. We also work with academic deans and departments to provide documentation if a student needs to do course drops or withdrawals, and we'll work with financial aid for any concerns that might be happening there. We can help students with filing for victims' compensation, support with the medical process. So that might be a SANE exam, commonly referred to as a rape kit, follow-up STI testing, anything like that. We also offer support within Title IX legal and or student conduct processes. So that could be from beginning to end, right? So from a student reporting a situation to any of those entities to it going all the way and being completed through that process, which absolutely could take years. So we will work with students through that entire process, even if it does take years. And then of course, we also offer the DSST services such as the food pantry, which Tyler already talked to you about. And we also give presentations for campus groups and provide informational material upon request. So one more thing we want to talk about is trauma-informed care. I think this is a pretty important concept. It's not new, but it is something that we're trying to discuss more and more on FSU's campus. And I'm just going to read this excerpt, which is straight from the SAMHSA's Concept of Trauma and Guidance for Trauma-Informed Approach manual, which the link is posted there at the bottom. It's a pretty comprehensive manual. It's definitely more than It's several pages long. But if you feel like you do want to learn more about trauma-informed care, I really recommend it because it has some excellent information in it. But essentially, I think this quote sums up pretty well what trauma-informed care, which is, a program, organization, or system that is trauma-informed realizes the widespread impact of trauma and understands potential paths for recovery, recognizes the signs and symptoms of trauma in clients, families, staff, and others involved with the system, and responds by fully integrating knowledge about trauma into policies, procedures, and practices, and seeks to actively resist re-traumatization. And I think that last part, that seeks to actively resist re-traumatization, is really, really key, because as staff and faculty who are going to be interacting with students who maybe have had a traumatic situation occur, whether it's victimization that happened or whether it's a death in the family, a medical crisis, there's lots of different ways that our students are impacted by trauma on a daily basis. And by you all understanding and knowing what your resources are and what students' resources are so that they can receive the support and help that they need, that's a key component of trauma-informed care, is making sure students have gotten connected to the right people.
And something I want to mention is some of the principles of trauma-informed care. In case management and victim advocate program, we are coming with this approach, which covers these 6 key principles: safety, trustworthiness, and transparency; peer support, trying to connect folks to others; collaboration with other faculty, staff members, on-campus, off-campus supports; and mutuality. We want to empower students, give them a voice and a choice. We're also sensitive to cultural, historical, and gender issues that may present itself as well. So trauma-informed care is a wonderful approach if you're ever working with a student to go about it with these kind of principles in hand. I do feel like, each one of these is very important, but a person you're working with has to feel that they're safe and that they have some level of trust. Sometimes there's going to be some hard conversations that need to be had, and a student will feel so much better if they feel like they can trust the person they're working with and that they're safe. Always feel free, again, report at fsu.edu. If you're having a conversation with a student, you can tell them that you're concerned, and you want to make sure that they're supported, and that you're going to reach out to a case manager or victim advocate for us to follow up with them. Sometimes that's a little bit easier of an approach to get somebody connected with us, because it could be a little intimidating to reach out to somebody who you don't know and then ask for assistance about something that might be kind of sensitive. So just some key principles to kind of keep in the back of the mind when working with students. As far as, I guess, following up, if you do have any questions or concerns, or if anything does come up for case management, feel free to send me an email at casemanagement@fsu.edu, or give us a call. We'd be happy to speak with you, discuss situations, whatever we can. 850-644-9555.
And same with victim advocate. Please do not hesitate to reach out to us if you have any questions or concerns about a student at all. Again, we have that 24-hour number, which is the 644-7161. During the day, if an advocate does not answer that phone immediately, it's because we are already assisting other students in crisis. So please leave a voicemail and we will absolutely get back to you as soon as possible. And of course, that email, victims-advocate@fsu.edu, is also a fantastic way to get a hold of us.
All right, thank you so much. Take care.